Namaskar and welcome. You're watching DD Dialogue with Shri Ajay Kumar, Secretary, Department of Defence. In the next half an hour, we're going to talk about, as nation continues to battle COVID-19 pandemic, how armed forces, in tandem with the Government of India and various verticals of the armed forces and Defence Ministry, are not only going extra mile to refurbish the existing current medical infrastructure in terms of COVID containment, but also how they are coming up with new technologies to deal with the situation. We're going to deep dive into the big picture when it comes to level of preparedness as far as the Ministry of Defence is concerned, and it's a matter of honor for us to have with us Secretary Defence, Government of India, Ajay with us. Thank you so much, sir, for talking to us. To begin with, give us an overview as far as the armed forces have joined hands not only with the medical fraternity but with the scientific fraternity to augment the existing infrastructure, especially when it comes to meeting the ever increasing oxygen supply demand.
So let me first of all say that we are in one of a century kind of a crisis. The scale at which this pandemic is coming to us, I don't think anything like this has happened in the last 100 or 200 years. Government is doing everything that is possible. The whole of government is working to fight COVID, and Ministry of Defence, Armed Forces, DRDO, Defence PSUs, Cantonment Boards, NCC, all wings of defence have pitched in with whatever contributions they can make in this field to join and fight this corona pandemic. First of all, I would like to say that our armed forces have always been available to the country when a crisis happens, and this time has been no different. Indian Air Force has been carrying out sorties which to bring MD oxygen tankers, cylinders, which has reduced the time to less than half, and nearly 400 plus sorties have been done domestically by Air Force planes within the country, and over 50 sorties have been done outside the country. A lot of requirement, which this is supplemented by Indian Navy, who has fanned out in all the neighboring countries in the Middle East Asia, in East Asia, Bangkok, Singapore, Bahrain, Qatar, from where these ships, Indian Navy ships, are today bringing tankers, not only for the government, but for any other persons. They are bringing tankers for state governments, they are bringing tankers for industry. Army has pitched in a big way in terms of creating medical infrastructure, providing medical manpower, earmarking their own hospitals, earmarking beds and other infrastructure in their own hospitals for civilians. Today, we have in the armed forces medical system nearly 10,000 COVID beds.
This will go up?
And
AFMS is working
yes,
on what
and this is continuously going up. We are, of course, I will talk about the new hospitals that are being created by DRDO.
Open for civilians as far as forces veterans?
So, these out of these COVID beds, practically all hospitals are open beds for civilians also. But also I must tell you that Army has made sure that its own
are well
armed forces personnel, their families, ex-servicemen are taken care of in the need of crisis, in this moment of crisis. DRDO has set up several hospitals in the country based on the request from state government. You are aware of, in Delhi 500 bed hospital has been started, in Ahmedabad 900 bed hospital has been started. In Lucknow the other day a 500 bed facility has got started. In Varanasi facility is getting started sometime next week. In Bangalore, facility has got started. In several places today, hospitals are being built by armed forces and DRDO to augment the availability. The biggest problem has been that of oxygen.
Yes.
And to augment the availability of oxygen, armed forces have started procuring. In fact, they have already placed and the 23 oxygen generating plants, and we are expecting those plants to come anytime shortly from
The
Germany.
ones that have come from Germany also? Yes.
And those will get installed in different locations in the country. These are mobile plants and they can be moved to wherever the shortage is there. Armed forces are also in process of procuring 23 other plants. These are big plants which will be stationary plants.
On the question of augmenting oxygen production capacity, now this narrative that we have been hugely oxygen deficit country and people are dying because of lack of oxygen supply rather than the lack of other COVID care, the kind of narrative that is there. Could you please on record clarify this once and for all? The government has reiterated there has never been any oxygen shortage for that matter. It is just that judicially it has to be used and the logistics part of it, because armed forces is also doing its bit in terms of logistically reaching out to the states in terms of setting up these oxygen plants, etc. Oxygen deficit, or this was not managed properly?
I think when we talk of oxygen deficit, we must realize.
Are we oxygen deficit?
No, we are not oxygen deficit in the country. That's the point I'm saying. When people talk of oxygen deficit, I think what they're talking is whether the patient in the hospital is getting oxygen. And what it has more been a problem of being able to make the oxygen that is available in the country to the patient. There is need to augment the availability of oxygen in the hospitals. And for this, there has been, like I was mentioning, from several countries, over 60 flights and over half a dozen ships have brought oxygen cylinders and tankers to this country in the last 1 week to 10 days, all in one short period, which is augmenting this availability of tankers. If you see, government has started special trains, oxygen expresses, which are today making sure that oxygen filled cylinders are reached to the destination faster than ever before. And like I mentioned, Air Force is doing 30-40 sorties every day, carrying empty tankers to the generating points of oxygen so that those could be filled up and brought. So, I think what has been really required is being able to do this logistics of transporting oxygen faster, and to this government has geared up the infrastructure as never before. We must also realize the scale of the problem. You see, most of the hospitals typically would have, let us say if a hospital had 20 beds for which it had oxygen support. Today 200 patients are coming seeking oxygen support. So, the demand in the hospitals has also increased. And let me also say that in some quarters there are reports that some people resorted to hoarding or and I think that has in some ways accentuated the problem. But
so
that's the good point is that
yes.
The government as a whole and armed force, let me say Defence Ministry has put all its might behind this effort to supplement the efforts of the government to create the logistics for oxygen, and slowly the problem is getting solved.
Indian Navy has deployed its ships to augment the mission for meeting oxygen production and its capacity building, and so has Air Force. You talked about that, but that black marketing and profiteering and hoarding bit that you talked about. So, though the Defence Ministry is doing everything in its might to see to it that there is no shortage of oxygen per se, it reaches at the right place at the right time. Was this then artificially created, this whole crisis or panic?
No, I would like to say that from Defence Ministry side, our effort has been to supplement the efforts of the government to augment the supply of oxygen. And all wings, in fact, I must say, for example, even our cantonment board hospitals, DPSUs, HCL is today creating oxygen beds in Bangalore and Lucknow. Our DPSUs are supporting such initiatives in various parts of the country. In CSR, they are giving money to make sure that oxygen is made available. So, from our Defence Ministry perspective, our approach is what we can do to help mitigate the any issues that arise from shortage of
So,
oxygen.
you are saying that there is actually no shortage in principle, it is about logistics and availability of oxygen in a particular hospital at that particular point in time, which obviously involves logistics and
and
planning.
that's because of the scale of the problem.
Scale of the
Our effort has been, the point I am saying is, there is a problem that is it's something which Defence Ministry is also witnessing as rest of the country is today. It is a problem which is of massive scale across the country today we are facing. And in Defence Ministry, our endeavor is to see what we can do to help solve the problem.
Correct.
And it is this effort that we have mobilized the forces and all the other wings of Defence Ministry to come and try and contribute to that effort.
You see, sir, if you look at the tri-services, the numbers in terms of augmenting the supply of medical oxygen, airlifting, everything, this is likely to go up. The operations, there will be more operations, aggressive operations. Coming to the DRDO bit. Now, I was going to the DRDO website, new technologies are also being created. I mean, this is a time of crisis, but then we are also leveraging it in terms of opportunities, coming up with new templates and technologies to deal with the situation. A bit on the DRDO.
Yeah, so necessity is the mother of invention, and I think a lot is being done to make sure that our technologies are created within the country. Today, DRDO has transferred technology for creating oxygen generating plants to industry within the country, and we expect that those plants will be set up in a month's time onwards. In fact, under PM CARES, as you are aware, DRDO has been supported to provide 500 plants, which it is expecting to complete in 3 months. I would say, if you will remember last year also, when the COVID phase 1 peak came, we did not have capability to make ventilators in the country. Those started getting made. We did not have capability to do RT-PCR and other diagnostic testing in the country. Those started getting made. We didn't have capacity to make PP kits in the country. We did not have capacity to do vaccines. We didn't have a vaccine, and today we have a vaccine of our own. I think two things are clear today.
Okay.
We have been able to show that in the country, in fact, as you know, last year we not only produced for our needs, we had no deficiency of any of these, but we actually were able to export to a large number of countries.
And gift also.
And DRDO and Defence PSUs played a vital role. I remember DRDO technologies for large number of improvised products. Bell created the ventilator in about 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and it was available in the market. Startups came up with large number of products, and I must say that the whole innovative ecosystem today is again similarly responding in this crisis.
The
Today
severity
if I
of
may
this
just
wave,
say
sir.
that both DRDO and startups are today coming up and addressing the requirements. We are still, if you look at it, if you look the last year COVID phase 1 started sometime in February, March, and went up to even the peak went up to July, August. We had 4 months period. But if you look at this phase, we are less than about a month into this period. But you will see that several new technologies will come up within our ecosystem to address the requirements of this. I must also say that one of the essential requirements of producing oxygen generating in the oxygen generating plant is a material called zeolite.
Okay.
And Indian Air Force is bringing that zeolite as we speak, and there will be no deficiency of zeolite in the country, which will enable setting up of oxygen generating plants in the country.
So, Secretary Defense, you're saying that situation has by and large been brought under control, especially the way various arms, not only of the Defense Ministry, but the convergences and collaborations and coordinations amongst various ministries, particularly Health and Defense Ministry and Ministry of Railways. The situation, we call it crisis, has been largely brought under control?
Ministry of Home Affairs is, is the ministry which coordinates the overall government effort, and Ministry of Defense has pulled in with its might to support Ministry of Home Affairs and Government of India at large with all its might. And like I have mentioned to you, several steps have been taken by Defense Ministry and its services and organizations, which are all helping mitigate it, and we will not stop till this problem is under control.
The Honorable Raksha Mantri has given special provisions and financial emergency powers to the defense forces. This is big because this means that it has already been declared as a war-like situation. How is this really, first of all, make us understand what does it mean and how is it going to help the situation?
The emergency powers are given whenever we want to make sure that decision making is on a real time basis, and there is no delay in between a situation being created and the ability of the commander on the field to be able to take decisions. And this pandemic, like again I would like to repeat, is a big crisis, and we do not want response of the armed forces be slowed down by the processes, and therefore commanders in the field, both from the from the military side as well as from the armed forces medical side, have been empowered through special emergency powers which have been delegated by the Honorable Raksha Mantri. And today significant powers are available to respond, and under these powers several hospitals are being set up by military commanders in their own units, 50 bedded hospitals, 100 bedded hospitals, 20 bedded hospitals, depending on the local situation, to augment the efforts of the civil administration there. One of the very important things I must mention is the willingness and openness of the armed forces to come to the support of the general health infrastructure all across the country without discrimination. So, doctors have been recalled from their regular trainings, they have been recalled from their leave. Medical personnel, I would not say doctors, when I say it also includes paramedics and nursing assistants and other people involved in the health and frontline workers.
Battlefield nurses.
Battlefield nurses have been put in the aid of civil health infrastructure across the country. So I think the whole effort here, the armed forces efforts has been to do this. I would also want to mention one more thing, and that is that even retired armed forces medical personnel are coming forward and contributing them, and to enable them we are now starting a tele consultation system by which the retired personnel who are relatively elderly in age, and we would not want to expose them.
This is on voluntary basis?
So this is both on voluntary basis, and we are planning to put some incentive also, but that is incidental. The most important thing is today there is tremendous willingness and interest on the parts of doctors to come and be part of, in some way, whatever they can, to contribute. And from today onwards, as we speak, we will be starting our defense teleconsultation service, which will be available to all civilians across the country. We propose to start it from the UP today, and within a week we will expand it to all across the country. So at all levels and at all war situations, armed forces have come forward and tried to contribute their whatever they could at every step.
Let us try and understand it, not really comparing the first and the second wave, and there is this talk about the level of preparedness for the third wave, and it's going to take a lot of time for situation to come back to normal. But as a country, now since we are talking about defense sector, the level of preparedness to deal with the situation. Secretary of Defense, the tele consultation bit that you talked about, it's something new, and if you could just elaborate a bit, because if this happens, then do you think this is also going to ease out a lot of pressure on hospitals?
It will definitely ease off pressure, and it's also very important because we have come across large number of cases where people who have a COVID patient don't know how to go to a hospital because people are not willing to take them to a hospital, apprehending that they will themselves catch infection. So this facility will enable people from home to go online. This is a 24/7 facility, although and it will be tri-service. It will be and here we will be using both retired personnel as well as serving personnel who will be providing consultation and prescription, and all the discussion will be recorded on this online platform. So there is a clear database of what is being done. This will also enable so that there is record and traceability of the work that has been done, which will ensure quality of prescription. And those who still thereafter, they can advise whether you need hospitalization, whether what medicines you can do, and so.
My last question, sir, to you, for the viewers of National News Broadcaster, DD News and DD India, your final word, a sense of reassurance, because the nation has lot of faith in our Jawans, in our armed forces, the robust defense sector that we have, and the extra mile that your department is traveling to meet the challenge. It is a huge challenge. What would be your message?
No, I think we will overcome. मुझको लगता है कि हम होंगे कामयाब, और कोई डाउट नहीं है, कोई भी किसी भी तरह की शंका नहीं है, और आर्म्ड फोर्सेस इसके पूरी अपनी ताकत से इस लड़ाई में शामिल हैं और लोगों के साथ हैं, और किसी भी तरह की कोई भी दिक्कत आएगी तो उसको फेस करने के लिए आर्म्ड फोर्सेस तैयार हैं, खड़ी हैं। और हमने देखा है, पिछले साल भी देखा था और इस साल अभी तक देखा है कि आर्म फोर्सेस के कंट्रीब्यूशन से हमारे को जो सोसाइटी में फेस करने की क्षमता आती है, लोगों का मोराल बढ़ता है, लोगों का मोटिवेशन बढ़ता है, उससे देश किसी भी हालत में किसी भी चुनौती को सामना करने के लिए तैयार है। ये भी चुनौती आई है और ये भी चुनौती इसी तरह से चली जाएगी।
First wave and this wave, at that point in time also defense department ने अपना योगदान दिया, armed forces also they raised to the occasion, but अभी इस वक्त situation थोड़ी अलग है। ये जो ऑक्सीजन सप्लाई को लेके एक स्केयर है, एक भय है, एक डर है, शॉर्टेज है, ऐसी आपदा का सामना करना, और उसमें जो डिफेंस डिपार्टमेंट है, DRDO है और ट्राई सर्विसेज है, वो काफ़ी कुछ काम कर रहे हैं, उसके बारे में।
जैसे मैंने पहले कहा, हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस हर तरह से, ख़ास तौर से जो ऑक्सीजन के ट्रांसपोर्ट में शॉर्टेज है, उसकी कमी के लिए एयरफोर्स और नेवी ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर्स और टैंकर्स का ट्रांसपोर्टेशन में लगातार रोज़ के रोज़ फेरिंग कर रहे हैं, लार्ज स्केल फेरिंग कर रहे हैं। किसी भी स्टेट को, किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को ज़रूरत होती है, उनके लिए फेरिंग कर रहे हैं, भारत से भी और भारत के बाहर से भी कर रहे हैं। 30-40 सॉर्टीज़ रोज़ एयरफोर्स कर रहा है, और 6-7 शिप्स हमारी लगी हुई हैं इसी काम पे, जो बाहर से, विदेशों से ला रही हैं। DRDO नए हॉस्पिटल्स बना रहा है, ऑक्सीजन प्लांट्स लगा रहा है, नई टेक्नोलॉजीज़ क्रिएट कर रहा है, जिससे नए ऑक्सीजन प्लांट की टेक्नोलॉजी इंडस्ट्री को दे रहा है, जिससे वो बाकी हॉस्पिटल्स और दूसरी जगहों पे भी प्लांट्स लगा सकें। हमारी बाकी जो इकाइयां हैं सारी, एयरफोर्स के, आर्म फोर्सेस, मेडिकल सर्विसेज ने बहुत सारे कदम उठाए हैं। नए हॉस्पिटल के जितने भी हमारे नए हॉस्पिटल बन रहे हैं, लगभग 4-5 हज़ार नए बेड्स जो हैं, जो नए हैं, मतलब आर्म फोर्सेस के हॉस्पिटल्स के अलावा 10,000 बेड मैंने बताया जो आर्म फोर्सेस हॉस्पिटल में कोविड के लिए मार्क किए गए हैं। उसके अलावा लगभग 4 से 5 हज़ार नए बेड्स अलग अलग शहरों में नए हॉस्पिटल बन रहे हैं।
और ये प्रोसेस जारी रहेगा आने वाले वक्त में और ऐसे?
अभी तो हाँ, अभी जितने बने हैं करीब 1,500-2 हज़ार बेड्स बने हैं, अभी 4-5 हज़ार बनने में भी हफ्ता 10 दिन और लगेगा। लेकिन जैसे जैसे ये बेड्स बढ़ेंगे उनके लिए हम मैन पावर, मेडिकल मैन पावर, नर्सिंग मैन पावर, पैरामेडिकल मैन पावर, डॉक्टर, स्पेशलिस्ट, उनको अलग अलग जगह से स्पेयर कर रहे हैं। एक एक डॉक्टर अपनी क्षमता से ज़्यादा, नॉर्मली अगर एक डॉक्टर 5 से 10 मरीज़ को देखता है तो आज वो 15 से 20 मरीज़ों को देख रहा है। तो उस तरह की हमने कैपेबिलिटीज़ क्रिएट की हैं। नए ऑक्सीजन प्लांट्स लगाए जा रहे हैं आर्म फोर्सेस मेडिकल सर्विसेज के द्वारा। जैसे मैंने पहले कहा है, टेली कंसल्टेशन की सुविधा की जा रही है ताकि जो डॉक्टर्स की जो एक्सपैंडेड कैपेसिटी है उसको मीट करने में भी मदद मिलेगी और लोगों को घर बैठे बैठे सुविधा मिलेगी ये कि वो अपना कोविड के बारे में कंसल्ट कर सकें, रीएश्योर हो सकें और उनको पता चल सके कि कब उनको हॉस्पिटल में जाना है, ताकि बिना एक पैनिक बेस्ड हॉस्पिटल में जाने की जो भीड़ है वो थोड़ी कम हो सके। ये टेली कंसल्टेशन सर्विस शुरू की जा रही है। कैंट वगैरह में भी करीब 30-40 हॉस्पिटल्स हैं, कैंट बोर्ड के भी, उन्होंने भी लगभग 1,000 बेड कोविड के लिए एयरमार्क किए हैं। वैक्सीनेशन ड्राइव मैंने नहीं बताया, हमारे जितने भी आर्म फोर्सेस के हॉस्पिटल्स हैं वहाँ पे शुरू में हमने करीब हमारी 90% से ऊपर आर्म फोर्सेस को वैक्सीन लगाया गया है। अब हमने उसको सिविलियन और एक्स सर्विसमैन और उनकी फैमिलीज़ को के लिए भी ओपन कर दिया है, जहाँ पे वैक्सीनेशन ड्राइव चल रही हैं। उसी तरह कैंट के हॉस्पिटल में वैक्सीनेशन ड्राइव चल रही हैं। तो हर तरह से उसको ऑगमेंट किया जा रहा है, जिसमें हम, जैसे मैंने कहा, हमारा मेन लक्ष्य ये है कि कोई भी चुनौती आएगी उसको सामना करने के लिए आर्म फोर्सेस अपनी पूरी ताकत से लग जाएंगी और उसका सामना करेंगी। उसके लिए वो पूरी तरह से सक्षम है।
और एक अंत में बिल्कुल संक्षिप्त में 30 सेकेंड्स योर फाइनल मैसेज फॉर द नेशन।
मेरे को लगता है कि चुनौतियाँ आती हैं और उन चुनौतियों को हमें हिम्मत से सामना करना है। ये एक बड़ी चुनौती है और हम इसको इकट्ठे सब मिलके, और उसमें हमारी आर्म फोर्सेस देश के साथ हैं।
आर्म फोर्सेस देश के साथ है, रक्षा सचिव अजय कुमार जी का कहना है वेरी क्लियरली सर। One thing, the writing is on the wall that Ministry of Defence has put its entire might behind Government of India in terms of dealing with the pandemic situation. Yes, the situation is tough, but it is not hopeless. We don't have to lose hope. Thank you very much, sir, for talking to DD News. Thank you so much for talking to us on DD Dialogue. Namaskar.